guys, my name is Rudy, and today we're going to work on the most important part, the planning of your control board. I'm wearing my Explorer hat because this is all about exploring and planning. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and remove the board here, the existing control panel as I call it, from the device. So that's pretty easy. All you got to do is we'll get these started. Remove the ball parts. And I want to give you guys an idea how I did my stuff, and then you guys can kind of decide what you want to do and how you want to take it from there. Okay, you got the 4 screws right here. You see myself there? It's been a few weeks since I've done this. Now I want to kind of get back into it and get it all done. Looks like this design will be a lot different from the last one, but I think actually will be a little cleaner. The great thing about doing a couple of these is you learn as you go. So mine here came with a protector as the later versions did. Still not sure if I'm going to reuse it or not. I mean, this protector, this plastic piece, that protects the artwork underneath. Very, very fragile. I don't know if it'll survive any modifications. I guess the most important thing is to see what it is that you want to do. If you're actually designing a board that looks like one of your previous video games or an arcade game that you already know, get a picture. I'm sure the internet's full of them, of the control panel, and design it the way you want. My mission here, what I plan to do is I plan to get this thing going on a custom panel that will fit multitude of games and have everything at your fingertips, but not as crazy as my other cabinet. So do this, remove the 4 screws, panel just comes right out. Underneath here, you can see the ribbon cable. Just go ahead and disconnect that and drop it in the hole. Now, I've never seen the inside of this thing. We're going to do that together just to kind of give you more of a real view as I'm building this stuff, so you don't think I'm just kind of pre-scripting this stuff as we go. I don't know if those of you guys that have seen our program before, you'll notice that I've done a couple other ones before, or at least one complete cabinet, and I want to quickly show you what that looks like so you can kind of see what an extreme version of this looks like. Presenting my asteroids cabinet. This is a little crazy. I mean, this is a little out there. From left to right, here I have the power that goes from my power switch to my keyboard and a reset switch. These 3 color coded to the trackball. Trackball lights up. These 3 I have wired to the spinner. And here's a magic wall that you have to stay away from. You can go to the left or right of it, but you can't have anything near it, which makes it putting a joystick here extremely challenging. The new device will not have these switches in here. These are my turbo and auto fire and all the stuff up, and I really don't think that's going to be needed. I do want to put the 1 up and the coin, and probably the 2 up in the coin. And to kind of show you what I did here is these 3 here are also wired to the spinner. So if you can be left-handed or right-handed, however you want to do it. There was a big discussion on the Arcade 1-Up mod as far as like what do you want to do, which way you want to go. These also are wired to the mouse, to the primary button. And here is my player 2. It's the reverse. So if you like using the joystick with the right hand, this hand, and buttons with your left, that's the way you go. This one, like I said, I went out to the sides and sort of like some of the larger cabinets are, and I added on an extension shelf. I don't think that'll be really needed for the other ones. And again, like I said, you got the trackball here, spinner, 3 buttons for the spinner, 3 for the trackball, and again, power and reset. Not necessary, but it was all there. We covered how we're doing the buttons. That was already in last episode. And now we're going to go where we left off. The planning. As you might have noticed, there's a reason I want to get this done. There's a big mess behind me and in front of me, and I want to get it all cleaned up and go back to normal, at least semi-normal. Alright, let's see if we can display this the way I want it to be seen. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go a little lower. Or you know what? I will just do this by hand here. Let's see. So you can see you have to get the cabinet here. All your different controls are set up that way. And my collection, what I've done so far is this will be the Nook that I'm going to use. There is a board inside of it where I was able to wire a reset and a power switch, which I'm going to extend out to the buttons like the other one it was. And here next to me is Glenn's Retro Spinner. Glenn's Retro Spinner Kit. As far as I'm concerned, one of the best spinners there is, and a direct replacement for the one-up spinner that was there. I also have a speaker that I'm going to be using for my arcade. This is something that I can recycle and use for that, so there'll be two of them. And here is an example of one of the original panels that I worked on before. You see, this was the joystick layout. Over here, where this is, there's a wall, so you can't really put anything outside of this. And this one, it had another side. The one that we're building today will not. So this is as close as you can get to it. Here's the magic line. This is the joystick, and here are some of the buttons that I did. And like I said, this is a kind of a practice round. Okay, here's what you need to do to get this thing started for you. Find yourself a piece of scrap wood, like I did over here. Here's my asteroids plate that I had originally before. Line it up. Cut out equally the two marks here on the end. And here is your no-touch zone. You can't put anything outside of this, where these screws are, or this line is. So you need to draw like a little line that will keep you out of that, because that's a wall on the outside of the cabinet. Also, on this cabinet, it's really easy to tell. Below the second hole here, where this line goes down, that's the line you can't go beyond either, because if you do that, you will hit this thing here, the sidewall. And if it's straight, it's even sharper of a turn. So one thing I do want to keep the same is I want to keep the spinner here off to the right. So for that, this one already had a spinner, so I just went ahead and circled the spinner. As far as the rest of the arcade, I have a little piece of roll like this, or something circle that's about the size of an arcade button. And here is the most critical part of your machine. You will have to draw out a design that you're happy with and that will function for you. Another trick that I learned is I want a stereo speaker system in mind. So when I line this up, I'm going to stick a pencil in all these right here and make a perfect circle for my speakers. For this, these are the speaker lines. I'm not sure if you can see that from here. And then, to cheat, I'm going to flip this thing over on its backside, and I'm going to redraw the same speaker set here on this side, and this will be my stereo speakers for this board. The rest of the buttons on here I can't really use. The holes are slightly larger than some of the arcade buttons I'm using. So just for reference, what I would do is I would go out and lay out the buttons. I would draw it out with a pencil just by tracing out the circle where the buttons are. Draw out your buttons as you go, plan your joystick, and plan out the rest of your devices. The other device that I'm going to be using here for this project is this trackball. The best way to do this is actually use a screwdriver and pop out this pop right here. There's 4 of them. Lift the lid, and then use the lid, flip it over, and trace out the hole for this ball. This will show you about how big of an area you need. Finally, when you get that in there and you want to drill it with your practice steel, you can go ahead and also mark out your individual holes right here. So that would be the holes, and this will kind of help you plan it out. Practice is practice. Don't buy don't buy expensive wood until you really got everything you need. Okay, really quickly, we're going to open up this thing right here and kind of see what's in it and see what we can expect to work on this project. It's kind of a shame to the ones that are in here I can't really use. I will recycle most of the buttons and some of the joysticks here. So the back side is actually pretty easy. Again, there's not much to this. There's a screw right here. We're going to go ahead and remove that. And let's see what else is in here holding this in. Right here. And right there. So 3 on the bottom. Oh, sorry, on top actually. And 3 right here. And like I said, again, this is something you want to take your time on. I still don't have my master design drawn out how I want this laid out. Like I said, again, I don't want to go as extreme as I did on the other one. I want to fit everything in this format, what this is and what my practice board looks like. No extensions on this one. So we're going to lift this up. Here's the magic. Okay, so it looks like Arcade 1-Up used the same type of system here. So what you want to do is I'm going to see if this right here will separate from the plate. When I unscrew this and pop the joystick out, I'll be able to lay down this little rectangle here and see the holes and line them up. And there's usually a center hole for the actual for this right here, and that'll tell me exactly how much space I need. You have everything laid out the way you want to. Go ahead and drill the holes using the hole saw or the stip drill bit that some guys use. Or if you're privileged and you can get your hands on a plasma cutter, even better. And try it out and see if it looks good. Mount your hardware and kind of go from there. My next step is kind of disassemble this thing here, as much as I hate to. I'm going to mark everything that way and take some pictures in case I ever want to restore this back to its original beauty. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and remove the speaker, line up all the new stuff, draw it all out on the board. Take these, and I also have some other spare ones I'm going to use and see where they go. The difference in these is the quality. You can see this is really poorly soldered in here. You can see the wire out of here. And these switches aren't exactly the highest of quality, but it'll work for now. I'll probably order some new ones later on. So if you guys have any questions on how to proceed with the planning phase, which I think is the most important one, let me know. I'll give you one last look at this thing here. This right here will be replaced by the new board here. You can lay this out any way you want, but plan, draw, plan, and cut on scrap wood is my advice. And next time you guys see, I will have a plan on what exactly we're going to do with mine. It'll be drawn out, and I'll start cutting it out, and we'll see how it goes from there. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.